Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to your weekly dose of newsy infotainment. It's Let's Be Treasonable, coming to you from the luxurious studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles with your cognitive dissidents on the panel this week. Joining us on the panel for the first time, comedian, human American. Ladies and gentlemen, Mariya Alexander.
Good morning, or afternoon, or whenever you listen, huh?
Yeah, it's the joy of podcasting. Enjoy wherever and whenever you are. Thank you for being here. Also, back with us on the panel, always a pleasure to have her, comedian, former teacher, student of life, always, Michelle March.
Your favorite gay white Latina. I'm so happy to be here. Awesome. Love you guys.
I always prefer when you introduce yourself as the gay Latina, because it just it sounds privileged coming out of my mouth. So thank you for that.
Good.
And with no privilege coming out of my mouth at all, but always a pleasure to have him with us, comedian, scholar, and the black voice of reason, Mr. Tymon Shipp.
Power to the people. I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
Always a pleasure. And before we get into our invisible fifth panelist, just a little breaking news, although podcast, so it will have been widely broken by the time you're hearing this. Apparently, someone has shot himself at the White House, and surprisingly, not our buddy Scaramucci. So,
or the president.
Yeah, well,
or John Kelly.
Or Jared Kushner.
Yeah, there's so many. When we were having coffee before the show, and Michelle came in and said, "Hey, did you hear about this?" And first, Jared? Was it Jared? Was it who? Who was it? Sadly, because Trump is in Florida, we will not know that whether or not he truly would have run in there with or without a gun to stop it from happening. But we'll be talking more about that and some of the other bigger issues of the week. But first, we are joined through the magic of pre-recorded sound and telephony by our invisible fifth panelist, 5-time Emmy nominee, Mr. Will Durst, with this week's Burst of Durst.
Hey guys, Will Durst here with a few choice words about the sticky spot the GOP finds itself sleeping in after waltzing to the altar with that fair-haired groom, Donald Trump. Even forced marriages are compelled to abide by that for better or worse proposition. And lately, the emphasis has definitely been on the latter. The honeymoon part was winning control of the House, Senate, and Oval Office for the first time since George W. was asking Dick Cheney for a hall pass for the West Wing Lavatory. The downside is being unmasked as the race-baiting, xenophobic, hypocritical party of the rich they spent decades trying to disguise. Trump hasn't changed the Republican Party. He just lifted the rock they were hiding under. A few of those who joyously donned the white dress and proudly stood next to Donnie John in November 2016 are suffering from a bad case of bridal remorse. They now regret climbing into bed with a man exhibiting the same kind of behavior that got him labeled as a serial abuser. But most are making such incredible ethical contortions, they probably sparked interest from various Cirque du Soleil recruiters. A lot of the rationalizations are recognizable to staffs at battered women's shelters. He's new at this, but he loves me. He didn't mean to do it. That's just Donald being Donald. Nobody's perfect. Don't judge him by his hair. Doesn't sweat much for a fat guy. Problem is, the midterm elections are looming like the shadow of Mothra 8 short months away, and all the bridesmaids and groomsmen are busy weighing whether to trot out their wedding photo to demonstrate how they still love, honor, and obey, or to risk a primary opponent from the right who will teach them about the till death do us part. For Let's Be Treasonable, I'm Will Durst. Wow, that was a good one.
Thank you very much,
He
Will.
should be more confident, that guy.
It's always been a problem with him, but I think he's working on it. So, and of course, you can find more of Will's deeper thoughts at willdurst.com, along with show dates and all that. I think he's back at the Marsh in San Francisco for a regular show. So thank you again, Will. And as I mentioned earlier, the day got off to an auspicious start with a guy shooting himself in the head at the White House, presumably because he had a stronger security clearance than Jared Kushner.
Well, it was in front of the White House, right? He didn't get in.
Well, he didn't get into the actual building, but apparently he was on the grounds.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was on the grounds.
He was just past the north fence.
That's a baller
I
move.
read.
That is ancient Roman style. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Murder yourself in front of your enemies. Very, very baller.
It's I guess this is what we've come to.
Well, when Obama was in there were several guys that got in. Did they get all the way inside?
There was a guy with a
One guy
knife.
did,
who-
yeah.
They got all the way in. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess there's no problem getting in the White House, is there?
Yeah,
Let's all
Secret
go.
Service.
Let's all
you-
go.
you
Just
It's
to
easier to
look.
break into our house.
just to look,
Just
just for the show. Maybe they should just schedule these. It can be like the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got another suicidal liberal scheduled for 12:30. So come on back. It'll be like the dancing fountains at the Bellagio. Just bring the kids. Hey,
Yeah.
maybe we can get the NRA Gun Safety Museum to sponsor the shootings. That would be
They
nice.
hand you a gun as you walk in.
There you go.
That
For the tour.
it's you pay extra for that. That's the deluxe package. Wow. What has this country come to? It's been an interesting week in terms of
It makes you want to shoot yourself in the head.
Well, that's been the past year, I think. But thank goodness, many of us decide to stick around and fight, or at the very least, just to stick around to find out what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, laugh at it. It's ridiculous.
There's more
any of you-
scandals than like a telenovela, really.
I'm telling
Right?
you, it's that if I spoke Spanish, I
Dios
would
mío.
maybe get a little bit more insight from watching the telenovelas, because I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you would have said anything regarding the depth of just conspiracy and incompetence and the depth of the mess that's being created in and by the White House, I don't think I would have believed it.
Come on. We knew it was going to be like this.
Had you then said, well, but the president's going to be Donald Trump, I would have been
Yeah.
okay, still not buying it, but it makes more sense.
Sure.
But it was so 2 weeks ago, a little over 2.5 weeks ago, there was the mass shooting at the school in Parkland, Florida. And props to the kids from the school who are making an effort.
Yes, props to the kids.
To hold our elected representatives responsible. And
March for our lives.
coming up March 24th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also for that too, since my last name is March. March for everyone's lives.
That's just part of your charm. You're down for
Thank you
everyone's
so
life.
much. You're so sweet.
It's some may see it as a character flaw. not everyone's life, but no, you truly. Yeah, you seem to like people for some reason that I can't fathom, but I respect that in you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I adore you.
And the love fest continues. So this week, the president had one of his meetings with the cabinet, and I guess there were some senators there as well to talk about possible solutions to America's gun problem. And as he does in many of these meetings, the president seemed to respond positively to everything that was posed, except
And he blamed Obama, though, too.
well,
Very,
of
very
course.
interesting that he blamed Obama for not having gun reform passed.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
so strange. And it's if you're wondering, well, gee, why didn't Obama get anything done after Trump met with all these people, and he did, pun intended, I suppose, shoot down one idea that came to the table when Steve Scalise, the congressman who was shot at a baseball game or practice, not even the game, last year, Scalise said that the concealed carry reciprocity should be included in any bill, which is something they're trying to pass thanks to the deep pockets at the NRA, saying that if you have a concealed carry permit in one state, you should be allowed to bring your gun concealed legally to any other state.
I'll only take that if they do gay marriage reciprocity. Oh, I guess it's legal in every state now. Never mind.
Well, they're still, I mean, it's one of those things. And
Well, you can get me a wife. That'll help.
You can marry a gun.
Somebody
That's
help me.
it. Marry a gun.
I could marry a gun. They'd let me before that,
I've been watching this issue because if we do allow guns to get married, I want to run for office, but I don't think with my past that I could win as the president on a ticket. So I'm proposing I would like to run as the vice president, and I am currently looking for a gun to head the ticket. I'm thinking maybe an AR-15, but I don't know if it would be able to get on the ballot here in California. But I think if a gun Robinson ticket would be undeniable. The gun would get the southern states. I would get
That's
the liberals.
Red ticket.
It's a purple ticket that we can all bleed for. So we'll talk more about that as the midterms approach and I get my campaign in order. Still looking for that gun. If you have a gun that you think would be eligible to run, by the way, do not approach me with the gun. Just send it to me. A UPS apparently has no problem with that sort of thing.
FedEx, isn't it? FedEx?
No, FedEx. They're the cool ones. The UPS is sticking by the NRA.
No, so is FedEx.
FedEx, I thought they didn't have any discounts.
No.
They were staying out of the mix. Last I heard,
they have some kind of affiliation. I don't know the exact capacity of their relationship, but they've made statements that they're like, yeah, no, we're good. NRA's fine.
Yeah.
Well, and I do know that I have received guns via FedEx before, which is
What?
against
David.
it's against their rules. I wasn't expecting them necessarily.
Who sent you guns?
My dad.
Okay.
He moved out of the country
Jews with
a
guns,
few
very
years back.
unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those like weird, I very liberal, but a lot of liberals get on me for my support of Israel, not Netanyahu, Israel. Big difference. It's like I support
They're coming to get
America,
him.
but I don't support Trump. So, I am a Zionist, but I think Netanyahu's a corrupt fool.
They're coming to get him.
But so when my dad was leaving the country and he was living on the East Coast, he didn't want to leave his guns in his storage space because he was afraid it might get broken into. And then, guns that are registered to him are out on the street being used for crimes. So he's like, well, I'll get the guns to you. I said, okay, cool. And I was sitting at work and I get a FedEx package.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is really heavy. Wait, it's from my dad. Oh God, I can't open this. I have to open it here. I got to know what. And it was like, okay, that's going back under the desk. And so you can. Mitch Hedberg, bless his heart, the dearly departed, had a great line. Said, I love the FedEx man because he is a drug dealer and he does not know it.
True.
So they don't screen every package that goes through them. But we'll be looking for corporate sponsorship for the Gun Robinson ticket. So fingers crossed.
One thing that Trump he's doing the flim flam flip flop again because he was saying that he was for gun restrictions and also doing mental background checks and all. Then all of a sudden he's not for it. He changed his mind.
Because he met with the NRA.
Yeah, he met with the NRA, and all of a sudden he's like, no, we were just sitting back having coffee. We were just, they just came by to say hello and everything. We just talked. No, fucker, you turned around and you changed your mind, as you always do.
He forgets what he was just thinking a second ago, like a goldfish.
Yeah.
You could get him to say anything.
Yeah, and the fact you keep bringing up Obama, okay, knowing that Sandy Hook is one of the, right up there with the worst, that the guy, the mother gave her son, and he ended up killing her. I mean, she taught him how to shoot guns, and then he turned around and shoots her. Then he goes up to the school, and he's mad. He wipes out the kids, and then they wouldn't give Obama anything. That's
Nothing.
even after seeing children killed.
Right.
Well, after this meeting, Mitch McConnell
Yeah.
said, well, we're not dealing with gun reform right now. We're dealing with what else? I don't know.
There's
There's some
lizard
other problem
people.
that's not a pressing issue. And that's one of my big problems with him blaming Obama for not having done anything before, ignoring the fact that
Congress is no.
Congress wouldn't let him, and
Congress
Congress
is no.
isn't letting Trump do this.